can see how lightning fast as they come up through the gearbox, and Eric Beers takes the advantage as he goes down into turn number 1. The contest is for that second spot. Looks as if Silk has snuck by to take over second.
Seen Silk establish himself this year as a consistent runner, consistently in the top 5 and top 5 finishes.
Take a look. On the inside of Eddie Flemke, just to the left of your screen, there he is the 16 of Mike Stefanik, not wasting any time trying to get to the front. Stefanik currently being posted in that 4th position.
And we saw in the summer with Mike, his car just was a little too loose, so we're thinking that the track conditions today being a lot cooler than it was in the summer, his car just might be suited for this condition today.
Your leader continues to be Ron Silk. Eric Byrne is second. Stefanik, Pennick, and Beers fill out the top 5. We're back. We're under caution. Wade Cole of Riverton, Connecticut brought out the caution here in the CarQuest Fall Final. And an unexpected, at least from my standpoint, pit stop by Ryan Preece in the number 3 car, Jimmy.
I'm amazed with only 31 laps in with 120 to go. This is awful early to be putting tires on. And, you know, the thing is, we also see Rudolph come in. but Tomeno come in and pit. A lot of these guys, Jack, I think this is a little early.
We also have had a change while we were under that caution. We've also had a change in terms of the point standings because the leader before this was Ron Silk, and in second, before the caution shoveled things up, was Ryan Preece. Was Eric Byrne, and Mike Stefanik was in 3rd. And if the race ended right now, that would put Stefanik out front. Want to know if maybe there are some issues with Bobby Santos's number 4 Mystic Missile? Let's go pit side and check in with Kelly Stavitz. Kelly, what do you hear?
Well, and Jack, I know that you were questioning Santos going out there in that same car that they had wrecked pretty good at Loudon, but he assured me that everything was put right back in place, that his crew did an excellent job. I did just get word from his crew chief, however, that during this caution, he has said the car was a little tight, but really he says it's the cars in front of him are taking up the whole racetrack. He said that 10 car is just eating up the whole track. He can't get around him, so car's a little bit tight, but other than that, the 4 seems to be running just fine.
Now, that 10 car is Eddie Flemke Jr., and certainly has been subjected to some criticism after New Hampshire, where he was involved with Jimmy Blewett that took out Ted Christopher, and I think I may have called him Mike, his twin brother, on the open. But I want to go back as we get ready to go back to green here, Jimmy. I don't see the outside lane yet.
I don't either, Jack, and I'm amazed because usually Stafford has been known that you can let the car roll into the center of the racetrack on the high side, turn and rotate, come underneath them. We're not seeing that move at all work today. Now, I have to say about Flemke's car, you know, he is holding up possibly 8, 10, 12 cars. And when I say holding up, he's probably about 2 seconds behind the 5th place car of Beers. So it's going to play havoc on this restart. What happens here?
And watch the front row. They have to contend not only with each other, but that 16 right behind them along with Pennick. That's Stefanik and Pennick in row number 2. They're coming up to the CarQuest Go zone where they can go to the green. Who gets on the gas first? No surprise, Silk.
What's interesting about this restart here at Stafford, this helps develop a second group when you get double file restart, as we see on the back straightaway, keeping them too wide.
And working the outside, but Eric Byrne is trying very hard. The 31-year-old is using the high side and getting a little slip, not getting the bite that he would like, but hanging tough as they are stacked up 14 deep side by side. Bonsignor spins with Flemke, and wow, the 4 car bringing out the 3rd caution. Santos avoided disaster.
Wow, did he avoid disaster. He was on the top of the racetrack. Thank the good Lord that he didn't slide. The old 58 car didn't slide up. The 10 car didn't slide up in to get to him. So he got to the outside and no damage.
Let's take a look. Down into turn number 1. See the 51 gets a little sideways, gets connected with Flemke, and then,
when he gets into Flemke, turns Flemke sideways, and thank good Lord that Flemke didn't slide up to the 4 car, but unfortunately for these guys. But they did get their cars stopped, and not a lot of damage done to any of those cars. They all rolled off.
Eric Goodale also involved. Kind of appropriate that one of his sponsors there is the Hitman.
and the thing about these modifieds that you see on an accident like that, big brakes, a lot of tires. We talk about it a lot. But the cars are very agile. They do stop quick, and that is important. That was the center of the corner, so they had time to react. Good vision outside of these cars also.
While we're under yellow, let's see if, Jimmy, we can check in with Mike Stefanik, our in-car reporter.
Mike Stefanik, Jimmy Spencer up here in the Versus booth.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Mike, you know, a lot of cloud, overcast, cool day. Is that playing any different today than what we saw here when we were in August when everybody was so loose?
I think because of the cooler temperature, the track's in really good shape, and the tires seem to be gripping pretty good. So, yeah, it could be just a good day for grip.
Mike, also, I see some guys pitted early. Do you think that's a good decision on their part? I see you're staying out to, like you said, halfway, you think?
Yeah, they must have pitted because they had to. They're playing the rotation card, pit early, first out, first back to the front. I don't know, too early. They don't want to. They're probably forced into it.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Good luck, buddy. Thanks for talking to us.
Yep, thank you.
All right, the caution laps have been concluded. We're about ready to go back to green, Jimmy. I think, it's a valid point. What Mike noticed is the cars that did pit were further back. So basically, what they're gambling on is that maybe they can use when the fast cars lead to get some track position. But at this point in time, it has all been Ron Silk and Eric Byrne. Now, Rowan Pennick, when that caution came out, went across the line and was able to sneak by Stefanik. Stefanik has dropped to the outside rather than the inside as we get ready to go back to green yet again here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, side by side in turn number 1. Oh, that is such a beautiful sight when you see them stacked up that way, escalating to speeds above 100 miles an hour down that backstretch.
And what I love about a restart, this is when you truly contest the outside. And we see Silk. Now we see the inside being challenged by the 93 of Penny. Another player we got starting to show his hand, the 36 of Teddy Christopher, the all-time winner here at Stafford. But he has put himself into the 7th position. He has just passed Santos. So this championship, far from over, Jack.
And Christopher's now being hounded by Bobby Santos. Santos, Jimmy, it doesn't look like his car's working as well as he'd like it to be.
No, and you know, what we're seeing here is that he's not being able to negotiate. Too loose right now, in my opinion.
Very early in the CarQuest Fall Final. We'll have more next here on Versus. 90 laps have been completed, and we have a barn burner up front. Ron Silk, who has led for most of the laps. Eric Beers, who started out the pit, have been going at it, Jimmy, for about the last 4 or 5 laps. Tires are going away across the board, and right now, these two are in the midst of some heavy race traffic.
What's a little surprising is we saw Beers drop all the way back as far as 5th, and some 2 seconds back, but he has marched his way back to the front, and now putting a lot of pressure on Silk.
What about Mike Stefanik? What about Ted Christopher? What about Bobby Santos? That is the points battle with only 2 races, this one and Thompson, left to go. Beers continues to hammer on that wide rear bumper of the Norwalk native from 27 years old. Stefanik right now leads Santos by 1. Santos is in 4th. Christopher is in 7th. I'm sorry, Santos is in 8th. 7th is Christopher, and 6th is Mike Stefanik.